100 days ago, I embarked on a journey that would change my life in ways I never imagined. When I first decided to take on this challenge, it was little more than a test of will. An experiment, really. A curiosity to see if I could step out of my comfort zone and face my habits head-on. It was an exploration of self-control, a desire to push my limits, to see how far I could stretch my boundaries. I admit I was a bit apprehensive. Questions swirled around in my mind. Could I really do this? Was it even possible to abstain from something that had become such a part of my routine, my life, my identity? But the more I pondered, the heavier the weight of curiosity became. The desire for change, the longing for a new perspective, became stronger than my fears. I remember standing at the edge of this precipice, staring at the unknown. It felt like I was about to jump off a cliff, unsure of what awaited me on the other side. But I knew I had to make that leap. I had to know if I could fly. The first step was the hardest. I had to make a promise to myself, a commitment. I had to look myself in the mirror and say, I am stronger than my habits. I am more than my desires. I am capable of change. And so, I committed. I committed to 100 days of no porn, no masturbation. I committed to facing my fears, my doubts, my insecurities. I was scared, yes, but also excited. I knew that the journey would be tough, that there would be times when I would want to give up, to revert back to my old ways. But I also knew that I was ready to challenge myself, to grow, to evolve. As I began this journey, I was filled with a strange sense of anticipation, a feeling of embarking on an adventure, stepping into the unknown. I didn't know then what lay ahead, but I was ready to find out. And so, the challenge began. As with any journey, mine was filled with both obstacles and victories. Picture a rocky path, filled with jagged stones and steep climbs. That was my journey, filled with struggles that felt insurmountable at times. The first few days were the hardest. Temptations were everywhere, like sirens calling out from a sea of digital content, each one more enticing than the last. I was drawn to them, but I had to resist. I had to press on. Then came the mood swings. One moment, I was on top of the world, feeling invincible. The next, I was spiraling into a pit of despair, questioning my resolve, my ability to see this through. The feelings of withdrawal were real, tangible, like a heavy weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. But just when I thought I couldn't go on, I discovered victories in the most unexpected places. I found that with each passing day, my focus was sharpening. I was no longer distracted by the constant urge to give in to my desires. I was living in the moment, fully present and engaged in every task, every conversation. I also noticed a shift in my mood. Despite the initial swings, I was generally happier, more content. It was as if a cloud had lifted, revealing a world that was brighter, more vibrant than I'd ever noticed before. I was beginning to see the beauty in everyday things, in the simple act of living. Then there was the sense of accomplishment. With each day that passed, I was proving to myself that I could do this. I was stronger than I thought, more resilient than I'd ever believed. I was not just surviving, I was thriving. The struggles were real, the path was steep, but the victories were worth it. Each temptation resisted was a demonstration of my self-control. Each mood swing weathered was a testament to my emotional resilience. Every moment of focus, every bout of happiness, every day survived was a victory in itself. Every struggle was a lesson and every victory a stepping stone. But as the days went by, I discovered benefits I never anticipated. My first surprise was an increase in discipline. Before, I would procrastinate, put off important tasks, and generally lack focus. But as I continued with this challenge, I found myself becoming more disciplined. It was as if the energy I was saving was being redirected towards productivity. This newfound discipline didn't just stay confined to my challenge, but spilled over into other aspects of my life. Then came the unexpected boost in self-respect. I found myself feeling a deep sense of pride. I was no longer a slave to my urges. I was in control. This feeling of self-mastery, of being able to resist temptation, gave me a sense of self-respect that I had never experienced before. Another unexpected benefit was better sleep. I found myself falling asleep faster, waking up less during the night, and feeling more refreshed in the morning. It was as if my mind was more at peace, no longer filled with the clutter of images and thoughts that used to keep me awake. Perhaps one of the most profound changes was in my relationships. I found myself connecting on a deeper level with people. I was more present, more engaged in conversation, and more empathetic. It was as if a veil had been lifted, allowing me to see and appreciate people for who they truly are. But the most significant benefit was a new direction in life. Before, I was aimless, drifting through life without a clear goal or purpose. But as I continued with this challenge, I found a sense of purpose. I found a direction. I wanted to become better, to grow, to evolve. I wanted to take this discipline, this self-respect, this better sleep, these improved relationships, and use them as stepping stones towards a better, more fulfilling life. These benefits were more than just a silver lining. They were the heart of my journey. So 100 days later, I'm not just a man who completed a challenge. I'm a man who learned invaluable lessons. Lessons that have changed my life in ways I'd never imagined. One of the most profound lessons I learned was about the power of self-control. Before this journey, I was a slave to my desires. But the past 100 days have taught me that I can be the master of my mind and not the other way around. I learned that self-control is not about suppressing desires, but about channeling them in a productive way. It's about making a conscious choice every single day to put my long-term goals ahead of my momentary pleasures. I also learned about the importance of discipline. It's easy to get carried away by the hustle and bustle of life, forgetting about our personal goals. But discipline is about sticking to your commitment no matter what. It's about making sacrifices and staying focused on the goal even when the going gets tough. And let me tell you, it often got tough. But each time, I reminded myself of why I started this journey, and that kept me going. Another lesson was about perseverance. There were times when I wanted to give up, when the challenge seemed too hard. But I didn't. I persevered. I learned that perseverance is not about never falling, but about getting up every time you fall. It's about not letting setbacks define you, but using them to grow stronger. Lastly, I learned about the ability to redirect my life. This challenge taught me that I'm not stuck in my ways, that I can change the direction of my life if I'm willing to put in the hard work. It's not easy, but it's possible, and the results are worth it. This journey wasn't just about abstaining from porn and masturbation. It was about discovering a stronger, more focused, and more disciplined version of myself. And if I can do it, so can you.